Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the newspaper review, where we get to analyze all of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us today. Over the weekend, something sad, something disastrous, something in my own opinion is really catastrophic. And what is that? In Zamfara State, bandits killed 35 persons, and these 35 persons were kidnapped from the Banga village in Kaura, Namoda local government area of that state, Zamfara, that is. And these bandits, as reported by newspapers and other media houses, killed them because of the refusal or the inability for them to meet up to the ransom that were demanded. Actually, 53 persons were kidnapped, and out of these 53 persons that were kidnapped, 35 persons have been killed, and the bandits asked for 1 million naira each for each of the persons that were kidnapped. So 35 persons, meaning 35 million naira, was not given, and so they killed 35 persons, still left with the other people remaining, that is 20 more persons left. And it is a sad one, because Nigeria today seems like a playground for insecurity. It seems like a playground for bandits, a playground for Boko Haram, for killer herdsmen, for unknown gunmen in the southeast, kidnappers in the southeast and the south. Different atrocities going on in the different geopolitical zones of the country, and it is time for the government to stand up and rise to the occasion and put an end to this continuous devastation that is befalling Nigeria as a nation. Is this how I welcome you to the newspaper review right here on Impact Radio 102.1 FM? My name is Uche Okorie. Welcome to the show. Moving straight to the papers that we have with us this morning, we will be starting with the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian has this one for us today, and it starts with this. It says, refineries at Jalkuta still fail revival efforts despite 6.5 trillion naira spent in 10 years. Refineries at Jalkuta still fail revival efforts despite 6.5 trillion naira spent in 10 years. You find this one on page 6, and of course the paper has a really big detail on some of all this money that was spent. It's talking about NNPC, refinery time and debt. So if you want to get all of this detail, some say specific contract in 2020 had $50 million for the Port Harcourt Mayor Techmont at Port Harcourt Mayor Techmont for current repairs. Port Harcourt 1.5 billion, Warri and Kaduna 1.4 billion. This is in dollars. So that's about what? Crazy money. That's about $4 billion spent on those four refineries with nothing to come out of it. In 2013 to 2023, the National Assembly unverified maintenance cost has been about $25 billion. Imagine those ridiculous amounts being spent. On the moribund Ajakuta Steel, in 10 years, 1.4 trillion naira has been spent. Crazy numbers. Really crazy numbers, and nothing to show for it. So it's really sad that we get to see all of these things. The operational cost for between 2021 and 2024 that's cost about annually 68 billion naira. That is a total of 272 billion naira for operational cost in these refineries. That is Kaduna 660 staff in 2021, Port Harcourt 506 staff, Warri 437 staff. These are refineries that are not working. With all of this staff, I'm wondering what they were doing there. Anyways, so much you can still look at right here on the front page of the Guardian. So if you want to find out, you need to go get that one. Underneath it, all the stories which you can find right here. This one says, will Nigeria harness or squander its youth dividend? Will Nigeria harness or squander its youth dividends? And that one you find on the editorial page 12 of the paper this morning. Underneath it, International Day, Nigeria hepatitis war falters amid low testing, high treatment cost, ignorance. Nigeria hepatitis war falters amid low testing, high treatment cost, ignorance. Find this one on page 6. And in case you're hearing my voice at this point, it's important for you to know that hepatitis is something so real, and you need utmost care to be sure that it never gets to affect you. So do all the necessary tests that you must do, so as to make sure that you are safe from it. Other stories right here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. 2026, Atiku vows to deliver Ekiti governorship to ADC. 2026, Atiku vows to deliver Ekiti governorship to ADC. This one you find on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. And of course, the ADC will do its best so as to make sure that in coming elections it participates big time, and probably it can get to win, since that is the only way the coalition can at least show that they are ready for what is to come, which their main goal is 2027, if you ask them. But I'm sure they want to have some of these seats so as to be able to achieve that which they want to achieve come 2027. So let's see how that one pans out. I doubt they will have the ability to participate in the Anambra election coming up in November this year. I'm not sure they've not been created then. They've not had this coalition then. So I do not know if they have a party candidate already in Anambra State before all of the coalition thingy happened. But if they don't, I doubt they'll be able to meet up with that one. But 2026 is the one I believe they have all the time, to prepare for. And so let's see how that one pans out for them. Underneath it, Falana condemns renaming of Lagos streets. Falana condemns renaming of Lagos streets. You find this one on page 7 of the paper this morning. 5 dead, 55 injured as flood ravages at Damawa settlements. 5 dead, 55 injured as flood ravages at Damawa settlements. This story is on page 30. The rainfall started, heavy rainfall started in Adamawa State, that local government where the affected areas, before dawn of Saturday, and it continued up until Sunday morning. And the results, a catastrophic sight leading to the death of 5 people, over 40 injured, and so many displaced. A really sad one. Also, NIMET has come out yesterday to give a sound warning that there will be flash floods in some states, with so many of those states listed. Heavy rainfall between Monday and Wednesday, which is today and Wednesday. And so therefore, it's important that if you're listening to me or from any part of the world, if you're watching on YouTube, if your state is affected, you should need to go find out. Go check out NIMET. Go check out the News Agency of Nigeria. I'm sure you're going to see information there about the warnings of NIMET, which is the Nigerian Meteorological Center, about the imminent rainfall and places where there's possible flash floods, as they have warned the governors and the state management agencies to put safety precautions in place before all of these things come to pass. Anyways, other stories right here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Court nullifies NYSC skirt ban, declares decision unconstitutional, breach of rights. Court nullifies NYSC skirt ban, declares it unconstitutional, breach of rights. Page 30 is where that story is. And of course, this one is a long time coming. And of so many persons, because of religious beliefs, are of the opinion that why not there be a skirt for NYSC? And I don't think it was a bad idea, because we know, growing up, we know people who had religious beliefs and they were not to put on certain kind of wears. And we also know people who do not like to expose any part of their bodies whenever they're outside. And we know how the NYSC is. First and foremost, you get to camp where you're still called an otondo or white fowl, as the case may be. You're putting on white, and it's a white short or white top. And the shorts, as the case may be, exposes the legs, all of the legs, from at least from the lap parts downward. The legs are exposed. Some people do not fancy this. Some people do not wear trousers at all because of religious beliefs or personal beliefs, whatever the case may be. And it is their constitutional right to have all of these beliefs. And so therefore, I think for something which is a compulsory mission, because it's not their fault if it was left to them and their beliefs, and they say, oh, it's optional for you not to come to NYC. Oh, because I don't wear trousers, I believe, and since NYC is optional and I don't wear trousers, I don't really have to go to the NYC. Probably if it was that, maybe they wouldn't be there. But as long as it's compulsory for you to be for NYC, it means there are certain rights that still needs to be availed to you, which is, yes, you must do NYC, but must I wear trousers? This is my personal rights you're taking away now. Must I wear trousers? Must I wear shorts? And now the court has come to the rescue, and which is a good thing. Something, well, it's never too late. Some people would have wanted it years before now. So many persons who their rights were violated, their rights were ignored in past years, that have participated in the National Youth Service Scheme. But we thank God that right now this one is now available. The court has nullified it. Now the question is, will the NYSC obey? The question is, will the NYSC obey? Because in this part of the world, we've witnessed so many times where court decisions are flaunted. So, is this going to be one of those times? I hope not. I really. Fresh 21-day ultimatum. I take that one more time. NMA, that's the Nigerian Medical Association, suspends planned strike, gives federal government fresh 21-day ultimatum. You find this story on page 3. That's good news for so many sick persons who it's not their fault that whatever the government is doing. At least this gives them hope to be treated, to be attended to be cared for. And I really do hope with these new 21 days given to the federal government will, listen to the voices of this medical doctors, this medical people, and answer and give to them what they want. Because in my books, they deserve it. They really deserve it. Just underneath the nameplate this morning, it says ADC demands audit of Tinubu's 200 trillion naira debt trajectory slams fiscal record. ADC demands audit of Tinubu's 200 trillion naira debt trajectory slams fiscal record. Page 3 is where that story is. Beside it, seek permission to appoint aides supervisors. Sanwo-Olu tells new LG chairman. seek permission to appoint aides, supervisors. Sanwo-Olu tells new LG chairman. Page 7 is where that story is. How else do they tell you you do not have autonomy than this way? I see no other way you can be told, man, you do not have authority. You do not have total authority than this way, because hey, if you have to get permission before you can appoint an aide, then what really can you do as a local government chairman? Nothing. Or else the governor tells you what to do. Beside that one, 2023 polls, court dismisses INEC's prayer against prosecuting electoral offenders. Court dismisses INEC's prayer against prosecuting electoral offenders. This one is on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper, and that's the Guardian for this morning. From the Guardian straight to the Daily Trust this morning. The Daily Trust leads with this big one. Electricity supply worsens despite high tariffs. You find this story on page 3 and 4. It says problems being resolved. This is according to the minister's spokesman. And it's really, really important that the tariffs are watched. It is really, really important that it doesn't get higher because there doesn't seem to be power, and you get to pay so much, especially those who are on band A, as the case may be, where you're expecting about 20 to 23 hours of power in a day, which it used to be at one certain time. Because hey, I can testify to the fact that while I was on band A at a certain time, it was glorious. The power was stable, but these days it doesn't seem to be that way, and it's not like the price is going down. it's still the same price, but you do not get the satisfaction of having it as much as it was said you were going to have it, and it's not a good look. It is important that customers, which we are customers, be treated fairly, be treated as fair as possible, because at the end of the day, we as customers always do our part. I do not know about organizations who hold debt, or all those government agencies that owe Gencos and all of that, but according to my best knowledge, the ordinary Nigerians who use prepaid meters pay, and they pay regularly, because if they do not put money into their meters, they don't have power. And so why do they get to suffer all of the issues that caused by maybe debts from other agencies, and which is the fault of these agencies? Because at the end of the day, you do not go to do things that you're supposed to do, which is like disconnecting these people who owe you. Disconnect them and let them pay before they get reconnected. Don't let us suffer from pains of cost by other organizations, and the customers are treated unfair. So it's important that these electricity companies, these Gencos, they need to do better. We need to have better electricity. The federal government as a whole needs to generate more electricity. Nigeria in 2025 shouldn't be generating below 6,000 megawatts. Shouldn't be generating below 7,000 megawatts. As it stands today, Nigeria as a country, if you want a situation where a country in entirety wants good power supply, we need to be generating at least 25,000 megawatts of electricity, and we're not even half of that yet. It's sad. It's really, really sad. Other stories right here. You get to see an image of a flooded area, and this is a search and rescue mission in the Yola South local government, in the north and south local government of Yola of Adamawa State, that is Yola South, Yola North, in Adamawa State. The flood, crazy scenes right here. Properties destroyed, pictures of people being rescued, and it's sad. Underneath it, bandits killed many captives in Zamfara. This is according to survivors. I talked about that one on the other papers this morning. Tinubu hosts Super Falcons today after trophy parade. Our Super Falcons made us proud on Saturday, where they came from a 2-goal down to win 3-2 in Morocco for the Women African Cup of Nations Championship, and of course Mission X officially completed. We are the only national team in the world in a continental competition, that is in their nation's continental competition, to have won 10. Amazing. The other persons that are close is China and the United States of America, with both of them 9 each in their continental competitions. So amazing one for the Super Falcons. We are so proud of you women for what you have done for the Nigerian name. Mission X is official. Nigeria boat mishap, 15 bodies recovered, 3 missing. A really sad one. Disasters here and there, left, right, corner, center on the papers this morning. Page 6 is where this one is. Constitution review, Northwest demands 8 additional states. Northwest demands 8 additional states. You find this one on page 15. And yes, so many regions demanding for new states, with the whole constitution review going on in the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. It has been going on for a couple of weeks now. Public hearings on different matters, and so let's see how all that one pans out, if indeed this will come to light, as so many are for, some for against, as so many people think new state is not really the solution, because the problem is actually doing the job. If the governors of the states that we already have existing are actually doing what they ought to do, I don't think anyone will be complaining. 5 die, over 50 injured in Adamawa flood. Sad story. Python, other animals found in ex-AGF's home evacuated to Kano Zoo. Good news for the animals. At least they get to go home, at least, even if not their natural habitat, but at least a place where they can be taken care of and be looked after. World Hepatitis Day, patients decry funding, challenge job losses. Really sad one. And so in case you are free from it now, that is good news for you. And the only way that news is remain good is if you never ever get to be affected by it. And the only way for you never to ever be affected by it is if you make sure you regular check yourself and know your status and understand your condition at the moment, so as to know how to prevent yourself from being victim to that sickness. That's too much for the Daily Trust this morning. Moving on to the Vanguard newspaper, not much of the stories right here, just a few stories. The same way it's going to be on the Punch newspaper. It has more of an advert right here for the president on his door-to-door agenda for campaign, I guess. Okay, so Miracle of Rabat. This is how it's tagged by the Vanguard. We're talking about the Super Falcons victory. Yeah, it says how we overcame Morocco by Super Falcons. It's on page 10 and 11 of the paper this morning. Just above the nameplate, $21 billion loan. ADC demands full audit of last 10 years loans. Presidency, NAS, APC, MOM. We find this one on page 12. Beside it, State of the Nation with current system. A saint will loot Nigeria. This is according to Aya. I do not believe that. I believe a saint, as there are no saints, but if indeed there was a saint, it won't loot. It will look for a means to clean the system so as to make it better. Beside that one, 2025 budget funding under pressure as oil output underperforms in first half of 2025. You find this one on page 25 of the Vanguard newspaper, and that's the Vanguard for this morning. Now to the Punch newspaper. Few war brews as Dangote presses Tinubu to ban imports. Ipman, Petran pushback. One against monopoly. Dangote insists on Nigerian first policy. Why Nigerian first policy is beautiful, no doubt. But I am of the opinion that if we are going to go to, ban imports now of fuel, it should be as a situation where we do not have only one refinery working. We shouldn't have only one refinery working. It seems like a monopoly. And so, therefore, especially at a time now when oil prices have crashed globally, which means we can even get cheaper fuels coming from outside the country than from inside Nigeria right now. And so, if we want to put a ban on imports of fuel, there should be all our refineries functional. And when I mean all our refineries, if it's going to be in hands of private operators, it has to be in the hands of different private operators, not just Dangote. We can't have a monopoly when it comes to our refining. It doesn't work that way. And so I guess that is what Ipman and Petron are talking about. And well, let's see how that one pans out. On the other stories, right beside the Punch newspaper, the nameplate here, it says APC demands Yewada defends Yewada amidst fierce opposition over INEC ties. APC defends Yewada amidst fierce opposition over INEC ties. Page 8 is where that story is. States on high alert as Adamawa flood death toll rises. You find